Welcome to the Digital Glue Podcast. These digital untangling episodes are brought to you by Crystal Kordalchuk, CEO and founder of Virtually Untangled. This podcast is for entrepreneurs who need untangling from the day-to-day tasks in their business. These virtual world untanglers never underestimate the power of a good idea. And if that sounds like a lofty goal, well, it is. A decade ago, Virtually Untangled was founded with the goal of creating meaningful digital experiences that connect with people. Crystal and her team of honorary untanglers are now providing business owners just like you the opportunity to own your story and share it with the world. So, every Tuesday morning, she'll be dropping a new episode that will help you think big and dream even bigger. Let's dive into today's episode.
Your brain is mighty powerful, and it tends to come up with all sorts of magical ideas. Realistically, as an entrepreneur, it can be all too easy to get lost in thought process and maybe even forget about all the doing. So let's be honest for a moment here. We all want to be seen and heard. It is gratifying, empowering, and makes us feel valued. We want others to get who we are and to hear our ideas and valid arguments, even if they don't agree with us. Though, of course, we'd like that as well. What we may not realize is that the best way to get our point across is often counterintuitive. To be successful, we must try less and listen more. By doing this, your point or idea will become more vivid in the recipient's mind. That being said, let me ask you this. Have you been feeling stuck lately on getting your point across with some of your clients, your peers, and your audience? Or perhaps having a heck of a time just getting them to listen, feeling frustrated, or maybe not feeling heard at all? To help ease the pain of not being heard, I've been there and I understand. Here are a couple ways you can ease into some creative ways of actually getting your point and ideas across. Plot the course of communication and know where you're going. Plain and simple, a strategy is required. Your creative energies need to be clear, concise, and focusing on whatever it is that needs fixing. It's okay to let yourself get a little crazy once in a while. Just roll with it. And you can start the process by writing down the main point, idea, or issue, as well as the ideal outcome you're hoping to achieve. Then from there, plot the course of the road travel to get to this outcome. Keep in mind, when you're sharing this course of action, you want the recipient to be imagining the entire process while you're going through the motions. Then, once you've reached the end of your speech, you want them to reimagine the end result has been achieved. You want them to envision the feeling of achievement, not just thinking of it as some long-lost fantasy. A picture creates 1,000 words, so build and inspire. Next up, drop the corporate attitude. You want to sway people while they're sitting on the fence with a good, actionable idea, triggering emotions, integrity, and logic. If you don't tap into all those human touch points, you won't get your message across. It's truly as simple as that. Emotion drives change, and change drives accomplishments. And lastly, reinforce the end goal. A huge part of communication is also being a good listener. The conversation must flow two ways, not just being some giant brain dump. Momentum builds when you bring the conversation together to deliver ideation and execution. Remember, an idea or point that needs to get across is only a seedling being planted. It takes a cross-functional conversation to bring it alive. Okay, so now that we got those creative ways to get your point across out of the way, let's do a quick dive together into email subject lines, which gently flows into the full span of today's untangling topic, capturing pain points with a great headline. What people don't always realize is that email has a magical ability that many other channels just don't, creating valuable personal touches at scale. An email list is probably one of the most valuable and responsive assets you can have as an entrepreneur. Unlike your social media followers, you own your email marketing list. Now, in the realm of marketing land, we want to make sure that our emails are not immediately deleted, marked as spam, or ignored altogether. We want to build relationships. We want to provide value and solutions. We want them to pick us. That being said, in a few previous episodes, followed by some social shares, we dove into the skinny on social media best practices. And now we want to take a moment to shine the light on more best practices in the realm of virtual marketing, this time with email. And what we want to impart today is the importance of using the very best strategies and some quick tips in creating a strong email strategy that will get those dream clients, build trust, and help your branding and reputation flourish and grow. Building a strong plan takes a strategic approach and a heck of a lot of organization. But if you're determined to do a stellar job, you must commit to keeping things real. Be yourself. Always, always. Your true, authentic self. I really can't stress this enough. What audiences nowadays are looking for is real connections and real truths. Disingenuous emails that are just used to make a pitch and promote on the regular just to make a quick buck are as easy to see through as a freshly washed window, and by no means a good strategy. The clients that you want are looking for you to make their lives easier every single time they connect with you in any way. They need you to not only be real and keep your branding consistent, but also to catch their attention instantly. And even when you decide to make those dream changes to your business, consistency is still totally possible. This is the truth, folks. Skip the gimmicks and give them the straight up goods. The real you, the good stuff. You want people to have the feels when they have an interaction with your business. And that also goes for every email you send them, not just in the land of social or digitally on your site or landing page offerings. And to do that through any kind of marketing, you need to make sure that your brand is following what I like to call the 3 C's: clear, concise, consistent. Even the most seasoned email marketing experts experience email delivery issues. It happens all the time. So let's talk about how to instantly capture their attention with a great subject line and avoid the spam folder altogether, keeping your message happily at home in their inbox. Provide a preference center. Avoid using all caps. Do not use too many exclamations. Use no more than 3 punctuation marks per subject line. Don't end a subject line with ... Don't add quotation marks to words in a subject line. Choose not to use too many exaggerated phrases. Be compliant. Send relevant content always. Emojis in subject lines do not affect open rates. Emails without have been considered to be less distracting and have more value with a higher open rate, without at 52.94% to 47.06%. Now, if you're working hard at being creative with your capturing first line, and if you're not quite sure if the subject line you creatively worked up is actually going to work for your open and click rates, I have a fun and easy subject line tester tool called Email Subject Line Tester by Omniscient. It's free and truly the best we've found and tested yet. If this tickles your virtual fancy, you can grab the link from the transcript of this episode. In short, before we dive into headlines a bit further, here are the takeaways to increasing your chances of getting your point across. Focus more on the receiver than on the sender. Tailor your message to your audience to improve comprehension, and don't worry so much about what you want to say as about what you want them to hear and understand. Okay, we've crammed a lot of goodies into your noggin in a very short amount of time, while only slightly diving into the main topic. However, the information I just shared with you needed to be spoken of first, before we dove into the rest. audience of monks. Optimize your SEO, which means including focused words to help your writing get discovered in search engines. You can do this by building the headline around the most important keywords in your written text. Then ensure that it is fewer than 70 characters. Additional words are considered too long for Google Index. Create a knowledge vacuum. An exceptional headline always leaves the reader wanting more, which means it's done its job. Take this one, for example. These pieces of advice found on Instagram could change your life. Does it make you want more? Does it intrigue you? Your readers will probably look for more information of the rest of your article. Solve a pain point. After reading a headline, readers may wonder, why should I read on? Many decide to do so because they believe from the title or subject line that you can solve their pain point. For instance, consider the headline of this untangling episode. Perhaps you are reading the transcript with the hope it will solve your headline writing problem. Add some numerics. People love numbers, especially headlines. Numbers are something we know and feel comfortable with. They give us a sense of familiarity and advise our brain of how long something may take to read. With numbers, we can justify the exchange of information for our time, especially with numbers that describe how many points will be covered. For example, 6 key characteristics every great headline should have. And last, but most certainly not least, and I never say this, but I'm going to just the one time, as inspiration means everything and can come from anyone or anywhere. Cheat. Yes, you heard right. Don't be afraid to look for inspiration wherever you can. If you write for a publication, review older copies and look for examples that you know would work with your audience and tweak them. For example, Tim Ferriss created multiple titles for his book, The 4-Hour Workweek, before settling on the mega hit. He ran a series of Google ads and looked at the click-through rates, simply choosing the one with the highest. All in all, a great catchy pain point capturing headline should speak directly to the part of the brain that subconsciously cares. However, a headline is truly nothing without quality, thoughtful, engaging content that is shared and admired. So remember, that's the main reason we want the catchy headline in the first place. And until we start reading from the bottom up, catchy headlines are here to stay.
And that's a wrap. Virtually Untangled is a full-service business, which means they've got you covered on design and content right through to digital and organization. You'll form a long-lasting relationship with them, as collaboration is central to everything they do. Now it's time to seize the moment and become inbox friends. It's easy to do. Just hop on over to virtuallyuntangled.com or their Facebook page to opt in and receive instant access to the most inspirational ride of your life. So what are you waiting for? Become inbox friends with VU. Until the next episode, keep untangling.